MPI, the Ministry for Primary Industries, has confirmed this afternoon that all known cases of Mycoplasma Bovis, the cases identified so far, can be linked back to the Southland farm owned by Alfons Zeestraten. Tonight we look at how the disease managed to spread such a long way from Southland to South Canterbury, then up to Waikato and almost certainly, as we'll hear later in the program, to Northland. Later we respond to some of the questions about M. bovis you asked us last night. Why is it so difficult to contain? But first, it now appears MPI was looking in the wrong part of the country and only managed to find the original infected farm 5 months after the disease was first detected in the country. Conan Young reports.
M. bovis was first detected in July last year on the South Canterbury farm owned by the Van Leeuwen Dairy Group. Attempts to control its spread were focused on this farm and all of the properties who had received cows and calves from it. Tonight, MPI has confirmed that the infection can in fact be linked back to another farm in another part of the country, the one owned by Alfons Zeestraten in Southland. The problem is, this farm was not declared to be an infected property until December last year, 5 months after M. bovis was first identified in New Zealand. This allowed a large number of cows and calves to be traded from the Zeestraten property to farmers around the country who had no idea they were taking in infected cattle. MPI's Director of Response, Jeff Gwynn, says the reason it took 5 months to establish a connection between the South Canterbury farm and the one in Southland is that the infected livestock went through 2 to 3 intermediaries, none of which used the animal tracing system known as NATE. Asked if MPI had apologised to the Van Leeuwens for naming them as the original farm, he said it was the Van Leeuwens and not MPI who first identified them.
We work with them and talk them through, why we think it's a good idea they should talk to their neighbours and why they should, go public with their name, but we don't actually name and shame. So in the Van Leeuwens instance, they named themselves.
Jeff Gwynn says he was working with the best information he had at the time when he talked about the Van Leeuwens being the original farm.
It is a fair comment to say that we probably did say somewhere along the way, or I would have said that they were the first farm, and at that point in time that would have been an accurate statement until such time as we found the Zeestraten, which indicates, or the genetic information we have available indicates that the point of introduction on their farm was earlier or predates the Van Leeuwens.
Meanwhile, the Minister for MPI, Damien O'Connor, says a decision will be made on Monday about whether M. bovis will be managed or whether an attempt will be made to eradicate it completely. He says both options were put to industry leaders today.
They've got to go back and talk with their organisations, taking on board all the information that they've shared and discussed today. I think it's been a very useful meeting. I think they're in a better position to talk to their organisations and come back to government prior to Monday, so that when we do make a decision at cabinet level, it'll be the best decision we possibly can make for New Zealand farmers.
Mr O'Connor is expecting a briefing within the next month on how the joint police and MPI investigation into how the disease entered the country is going. For Checkpoint, ko Conan Young tēnei.